We do find ourselves in the situation, so would have to talk about it. Years ago, we had the unfortunate experience of burying gallant broadcaster Komla Dumo, whose journey with broadcasting started right here. In the last 24 hours, we're having to deal with yet another sad piece of news that his sister and our very good friend, communications specialist and consultant, Mawina Dumo Treba, passing on to glory. Tough and sad. But of course, in all of this, we just have to pray for the family, the spouse, the children, and her father, Professor Dumo. It shall be well. It sure shall be well. And so what we're doing this afternoon is just to try to lift our moods and bring you these conversations. So do remember that an ultimate experience is coming your way this May with the first ever Joy Prime cocktail experience. Now prepare to dive into our selection of signature cocktails and mocktails, from classic mojitos to many others, to refreshing margaritas and cosmopolitans, and savor our mouth-watering range of sizzling grills from pork to chicken. There will also be more. We've got the beats to keep you grooving all day long. Mark your calendars for the 2-day experience. It's on the 3rd May, starting from 4 p.m. to the 4th of May, starting from 2 p.m. sharp at the Joy FM car park. Don't miss out on the fun. And for inquiries, just remember to call 055-969-1797. 055-969-1797. The Joy Prime Cocktail Experience is brought to you by Joy Prime, the ultimate experience. Franco Trading Enterprise, Still Pum Fum Papa Fie, Captain Morgan, Velton's Bear, distributed by Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited. What if I told you that 10 Ghana cedis can get you free concert tickets and shopping vouchers worth 500 Ghana cedis to shop at Malcolm, or get some good buckets of chicken, juicy chicken, from KFC every week? Well, here's what to do. Stake 10 Ghana cedis or more on the Game Park Game Pick 1 or Pick 4 lottery to be entered into a weekly Saturday raffle for a chance to win in the Mula promo. Regardless of the outcome of your stake, you can still win a voucher for yourself. Vouchers are limited, so play more to increase your chances. And remember to watch the Saturday promo draw on Adom TV. That's today at 6 p.m. There's a lot of time. And then you can dial *946# or visit www.gameparkgames.com to play now. Terms and conditions apply. Game Park Games. More moolah, more power. Also later on in the show, Mr. Michael Nkansa, who previously was in charge of communications for the Greater Accra circles of Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko, will be joining us for the conversation here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you all very much for making this the number one for all the big issues and the personalities at the heart.
99.7 FM.
Here with us on Joy 99.7 FM. This is the Joy Sports Link. My name is Nathaniel Attoh. We're backing from the rest of the Joy Sports team. Today, we're taking a close look at what has worked for Dreams FC. Dreams FC getting themselves into quarterfinal stages of the CAF Confederation Cup and making it a realistic conversation that a Ghanaian club can win continental silverware, even though our giants are not or have not come to the party in recent years. So what has worked there, and what is it that they have done over the years to get themselves into this rich vein of form that's getting them the results? On the other hand, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, a club which decades ago was known to occupy that place of dominance and also to set the standards for other clubs to follow, don't find themselves in the best of places. And this has sparked a lot of worry. The fans are not happy. The fans are speculating greatly about what is likely to happen, especially on the technical end of things. And that's the first port of call when things are not going well. Interestingly, Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum, the head coach, is a man who knows how to get it done. So what's the difference this time? We'll get some of our friends who've been joining the conversation and have been listening out to these fans and following what's been going on, in the boardroom and also on the administrative tables of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, so we could have a fair idea of how it's going. In a few moments, Bismarck Owusu-Bempah will be joining us so that we can have this conversation. Bismarck Owusu-Bempah is in charge of Insura Sports, our sister station in Kumasi. Also here with me in studio in Accra is Aminu Shado, who is the general manager of Dreams FC, a man who is basking in great pride, obviously, for what his club has been able to achieve to this stage. Aminu, congratulations for getting thus far, and it's been good. It's been a good story so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a very good story, but it's been years of hard work and serious planning and execution behind the scenes, but we are happy that all these years of hard work is beginning to pay off now.
I was having a chat with some friends of mine 2 days ago, and they were, one of them who really follows the Ghana Premier League said that what Dreams FC has done in the CAF Confederation Cup is like they were just moving in the back quietly, and now we just happen to see them there. And one person specifically told me that because it was not a typical Hartsville or Kotoko, he lost a bit of interest. But then he just realizes that Dreams FC is there.
Yes, what we've done is basically to reignite the passion amongst the Ghanaian populace in Ghanaian clubs, and also to give a lot of hope to all clubs. And I think the ripple effect of what we've done in the Confederation Cup will have a very positive impact on the domestic competition, because now every club goes into competition knowing that if they win, in times past, when you are going to play Hasofoko or Kotoko, and you are in good form and you want to challenge them, they ask you, even if you win the league, will you go to Africa? Or if you win the Africa, will you go to Africa? Now they limit us and they don't have that kind of jibe against us. So now every club, we've given hope to every club in Ghana that it is very, very possible. We are not too far off from those who are bossing it at that level. We just need to plan very well and invest in our game properly. Once we do that, the talents are here. We are wasting a lot of talent even here. Once we are able to galvanize ourselves well, plan properly, and invest in the right areas, it is very, very possible for us to compete at the highest level.
Well, let me also bring other panelists into the conversation. Michael Nkansa previously was in charge of communications for the Greater Accra branch of the National Circles Council of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the official supporters body. And he is also, he's been regular for some time. He hasn't been here for some time now. Michael, good to have you here on the show.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nathaniel Attoh. It's great to also have you for the first time hear your voice. I've not been the absentee panel member, but it is just that activities and
demands of the 9
we
to
have
5
to balance
job.
everything.
Yeah, very well.
But let me also say congratulations to Dreams FC and my brother Aminu Shado for such a wonderful work they are doing at Dreams FC. I think that they are paving the way for other smaller clubs, as we normally refer to them in Ghana, to, as it were, perform and see the sky as the limit, where the most successful clubs in Ghana, Accra House of Folk and Kumasi and Kotoko, are unable to reach. I'm sure that they are trying to fill the gap, and it's a good step for all of us as football enthusiasts, and it's good for the administration of football in Ghana. And I think that Dreams FC have done a lot of good work. I mean, they need to be commended for that.
All right, so now we have a bit of a full house. I do realize that Fifi Manfred is also joining very shortly so that we can have this conversation. Let me get initial comments from Bismarck Owusu-Bempah Ayala, head of Insura Sports. Bismarck, good to have you. And if you do remember, Bismarck was the one who initiated our campaign for returning our fans to the stands. So he was the brain behind the thought leadership event that we had last year, which got industry players together to find scientific solutions to the problem of fans staying away from our football, from our stadia and from our venues. Bismarck, good to have you on the show. Ayala.
Will bring a lot, so it's a big problem. It's a big problem.
All right, so I think Bismarck is struggling to hear now. Bismarck, from your video, I do realize that it looks like you're having difficulties hearing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Great. All right, good to have you here on the show. We were just having some initial comments just before we get into the Asante Kotoko conversation. Dreams FC are the club of the moment without any doubt, and it is because they are our sole representative in club competition now on the African continent, and they are also coming to the party. They are getting the results. Can you kindly unmute for us, please? Very well. I can hear you now.
Yeah. What Dreams FC has been able to achieve is just an incredible story. Looking at the size of the club and the history of the club, no one gave them any chance to go this far as the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup. And what is more interesting is that in 24 years, there was no Ghanaian club that could beat a club away in the club competitions, and Dreams FC has done it, beating Stade Malien in the knockout stages of the CAF competitions. The last one was obviously Accra House of Folk in 2000. So it's very, very refreshing to know that Dreams FC is really making us proud and giving us something to think about. That indeed it's not that impossible for Ghanaian clubs to make waves in Africa. We just have to plan very, very well. We just have to have a very, very good initiative in terms of investment into our clubs. The last time I heard him on Joy News TV saying Dreams FC has already spent around $400,000 to get to where they've gotten to. Yes, so you need the money, you need the determination, you need a plan, and you need everything to execute it well. And Dreams FC has really made us proud and have shown us the way. So congratulations once again to Aminu Sado and the Dreams FC team, and we wish them all the best in the remaining matches of the CAF Confederation Cup.
Yeah, he's wearing a green shirt, the replica jersey of his club, and green always reminds me of our Nigerian brothers and sisters. So in Nigeria, you should be, Chief Bempah. Chief, once you say congratulations, you should hit his chest with a few bundles of,
Oh, I mean, you know how we do it. So
oh, great.
That's no problem at all.
Oh, great stuff there. Anyway, that was just by the way. Aminu, we always talk about our big clubs, and this is a default setting or default happening around the world where big clubs are not performing, and then it gives a certain lull to the league they're in. What is it with the conversation about Asante Kotoko and Hearts, and when they dip, and how it affects the whole look and feel of the league from your perspective?
I mean, the conversation around big clubs are very, very essential in any jurisdiction.
Okay.
Just because of the ripple effects they have, especially when they are either doing well or not doing well. I recall in recent times in the season when House of Folk and Kotoko were neck and neck for the league title.
Yeah.
We saw the excitement it generated for the whole league. Every game that they played, every team that is playing either one of them had some buzz around it, and that's what we've been lacking. If in times when they are not doing well, and it's always it could either help or break you depending on which club, or whoever is taking up that mantle. But for us, we've always concentrated on ourselves. We don't look at what people have done in the past or what others are doing. We have concentrated on ourselves, prioritize the critical areas that will help us, and not really pay attention to what is happening elsewhere. And that's, I think, that level of focus is what has helped us throughout our campaign in Africa. But then, of course, it's always good that when we go outside, especially on our travels, people make reference to how great these teams have been in the past and how they've given the continental competitions a lot of shine and color. And in fact, it tells when we're playing our home matches, we are not a club the size of House of Oak and Kotoko. If I'm very, very sure, if House or Kotoko had made it this far in a competition, whenever they are playing in the stadium, it will be filled with the kind of football that we are also playing. So it's always important for clubs who are big in every jurisdiction to be up and doing because of the kind of effect they have on other clubs and the whole industry.
Well, you're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. What is wrong at Kotoko? If you're a Kotoko fan or you've been observing from afar, it's a good time to share your thoughts with us. It's 055 1111997. 055 1111997. Alternatively, +233 55 1111997. Do remember that the phone calls are for later, so the best way to get through to us with your thoughts is via text. Let's pick the thoughts of Fifi Manfred as well. Fifi, what is it that you see? I mean, Coach Prosper Nathaniel, for instance, was brought back because he's a man who rose to the ultimate within a very short period of time, got the job done, and got key silverware. Now he's been brought back, but maybe there's something different, and that difference is what I would like you to touch on.
Thank you very much, Nat. I think that first of all, if you look at the mode in which Prosper Nathaniel was working in his first tenure at Kotoko, it's obviously different. I mean, you can easily point to the fact that the management of Asante Kotoko now is literally skeletal. Essentially, it's just himself, Nana Kontomponi Aferi, and then of course James Akosiapia, who are handling the day-to-day, and of course Emmanuel Dafteberry, who are handling the day-to-day affairs of Kotoko. If you look at Mr. James Akosiapia, who isn't in the country, he is busy with the job of the South Sudanese team in Saudi Arabia, I gather. So, of course, the magnitude of the job is bigger than just these four people. And if you listen to the words of the letter that appointed them, there's a critical word they used, and they said it was an interim, and then that's the IMC, interim management committee. And that means that they were supposed to be there for a short while for a proper management to be convened. As it stands now, that hasn't been done. Again, I also do think that while all of these things are important, you look at Prosper Nathaniel and then you look at the performances on the pitch, as far as that goes, the buck stops with him. In my opinion, I think that Ogum has had some issues, on the field of play, and the results that he's churning out isn't good at all.
Before you go on, Fifi, you touched on something which I felt was very instructive. Now, Coach Kwesiapia obviously is not in the jurisdiction because of what he has in terms of a permanent job. Technology has made it possible that we're all able to function wherever we are, especially after what COVID taught all of us in 2020. So is that really an issue? It's not supposed to be an issue, is it?
Well, I mean, you can make a very good point about technology, and even the fact that today technology is helping me with you miles away from me here in Kumasi. But then again, you can only do a job in absentia to an extent. Technology can do the job to a certain level. There are times where you need a human face. There are times that you need the people there to make sure that they do the job themselves. And I think that to an extent, it affects the Kotoko team. In my opinion, I think that Coach Mr. James Akosiapia should reach out to Ahimfi, to Otigo Crosso respectfully, and then let him know that if he can't do the job, the fact that he is away, maybe there's a need now to appoint people that will aid the manager. Nat, to be very honest with you, I don't think there is any pundit in the world that would say that a coach can function on himself or herself. It's not possible. You need auxiliary people to help you. Even in the technical team, there's a need for other people that will aid. And if there is a proper structure that helps the team thrive, that in which the team thrives, obviously the best is going to come out from the coach. Again, there is a reason why in proper management processes, one person alone or just a few people, just 4 people, are not allowed to make decisions on their own, because there's a possibility of these people not being able to get to make the best decisions for the entity, and in this case, Kotoko. So I really do think that the fact that there are just a few people at the helm at Kotoko didn't help. Again, also, I think that whilst you speak about every other thing in terms of management and what's not with Kotoko, you would also speak about the results on the field of play, because at the end of the day, that's the reason why we are here. If Kotoko were winning day in, day out, week in, week out, this conversation probably wouldn't have even sufficed. We are here because Kotoko have failed to win in 6 games in the Ghana Premier League. I mean, they've got it just 1 point in 18 possible points that they should have amassed. And for me, that is sackable. And see, I am very, 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 very. I've always said my admiration for Coach Nate Prosper is up there, and that hasn't. But seriously, if you look at the numbers, the data that is present right in front of all of us, we can understand that there are things that are worrying our Kotoko. And with respect to the performance on the field of play, the back stops to him. In my opinion, what makes it even worse is the fact that Coach Nate Prosper for a while now, has not been attending press conferences himself. I mean, the club hasn't officially communicated the specific reason with which Prosper Nate isn't doing that job. I mean, at least none that I've seen. But I do think that at this point where Kotoko is at crossroad, the fans are literally jittery and worried about their club. There is the need for him to man those post-match presence and then speak to his fans, let them know where he thinks they are, because there are a lot of people who believe that Kotoko are rebuilding or building. And if you bought seemingly new players to the Ghana Premier League, seemingly new players to what Kotoko are known for, and then you are building, there is the need to churn out that needed PR and let people of Kotoko, the Kotoko fans, understand that this is where we are going, this is where we start from, this is where we are. It's important. Now, finally, if you go back to the successes of the elsewhere Kotoko administration, one of the things that they did brilliantly well, and everybody will understand and agree, is that they were spot on with their communication. Every now and then, they never allowed room for speculations. They were always quick to the media. They were always quick to put information out. They had their own mechanism to which they put their information out. And it's important for a club very volatile like Kotoko, very political like Kotoko, and of the magnitude of Kotoko, there is the need to man communication, to own it and to lead it. As it stands now, all of these mitigating factors have come together, and that's exactly why we see Kotoko where it is now.
Great stuff there. Fifi Manfred of our sister station, Love FM, also here with us on the show as we try to diagnose the issues. Let me pick the thoughts of Michael Nkansa before I come here into the studio to speak to the manager of Dreams FC, the general manager, Aminu Shado, because do remember that on November 5 of last year, during the first round of the Ghana Premier League, Dreams FC beat Asante Kotoko 1-0 at no less a place than the Barbara Stadium. And, you know, in previous years, this obviously would have been a sacrilege in Kotoko terms. Let's take a listen to, Michael Nkansa on how he sees this point that was raised by Fifi Manfred about Kwesi Appiah, saying respectfully to Otumfuo that, look, because of the demands of my job, I may have to respectfully turn this down. Michael, how difficult it is. You do understand very much the Ashanti culture and all the lefts and rights around the king of the Ashanti kingdom and his relationship with the club of which he is life patron. How easy is it to say respectfully no because of 1, 2, and 3, especially if you've been given a responsibility, or the king calls you and invites you over to give you a responsibility at Kumasi Asante Kotoko? Is it that simple?
Well, thank you very much. I think that I appreciate the opinions and the submissions espoused by my friend. I believe strongly that, as you just rightly said, As far as His Royal Majesty's activities and appointments and call-outs to assume responsibilities assigned to you by the golden stool, it is not as easy as we see that you can easily just on a day walk out and say that unfortunately you gave me a task and I'm unable to do it. Because not to sound as a spokesperson for His Royal Majesty, I believe that a lot of discussions, a lot of considerations, a lot of consultations are taken into account before certain decisions are made. And it is imperative for us to understand that when all those consultations and considerations are taken into account and then the decision is made, it behoves on all of us who will be assigned such responsibilities from the Goldens to uphold and to defend the requirements and the requisite demands of the Golden Stool. And so we are all subject to the Golden Stool, and to that extent, Kwesi Appiah is not an exception. I believe strongly that the responsibility that has been assigned to Kwesi Appiah is a very enormous task. It's a very daunting responsibility that requires a lot of sacrifices and a lot of ability to demonstrate beyond the ordinary thinking of every ordinary Kotoko supporter that Kwesi Appiah is capable of doing the work assigned to him by His Royal Majesty. Except to state that his geographical location currently, of course, we cannot run away from the fact that it is one of the few contributing factors that may be affecting the performance of the team. I think strongly that in the last few weeks that I've followed the team, and as many as the last 4 or 5 matches, I believe strongly that something is fundamentally wrong somewhere. And I believe that most of our supporters are not happy because, as he said, as my brother said, if Kotoko was winning, I don't think that the absence of Kwesi Appiah would be the subject of discussion. If Kotoko was winning, I don't think the second coming of Prosper Nathaniel would be a subject of discussion. If Kotoko was winning, the number of management members we have today would not be a subject of discussion. If Kotoko was winning, the number of supporters who go to Baba Yara Stadium to cheer the team up would not be a subject of discussion. The discussion has become so ripe and very important for us to discuss today because the team's performance continues to go down. And it is a worry to every Kotoko supporter. It is a worry to every meaning sympathizer of Asante Kotoko. Even those who are not even closely affiliated to the club are even feeling the pain the numerous supporters are going through now. And I think that it is time all of us as stakeholders in the club will come together and fish out what exactly the causative factors are. I believe also strongly that the performance of the team today may be a subject of discussion. More importantly, where we have individual talented players who, on a reasonable day, every Kotoko supporter thinks that is capable of donning the red jersey of Asante Kotoko. But I think that the players itself, I mean the playing body itself, must also sit down and do some retrospective analysis of their performance match after match and profess some reasonable solutions to what exactly is the problems affecting their performance in recent times. It is not something that we are happy about. I don't think that every Kotoko supporter is happy about what is happening in the team. I equally don't even think that anybody who believes in football in Ghana is happy about what is happening in Asante Kotoko, because the more Kotoko goes down, the more Hearts of Oak goes down, the more the enthusiasm, the more the feeling, the more the appreciation of supporters as far as football is concerned in Ghana goes down. And we all have to come together to decode what exactly the problems are in Asante Kotoko and fashion out some reasonable solutions to restore Asante Kotoko back to the glory ways and to ensure that it's meaningfully and significantly contribute to the development of Ghana football. I want to believe also and to share with my colleagues' submission and opinion that if today Kwesi Appiah is able to, convince Mansia in a very delightful and in a very sober manner, and such decision is approved, maybe it may contribute to a significant direction positively to the fortunes of the club, because technology, as you rightly said, may bring all of us closer, irrespective of our geographical location, but it has its own limits to which it can operate. there are certain decisions, there are certain key discussions that may not necessarily require the use of technology to, as it were, discuss and conclude. Maybe some physical meetings, physical appearances at training grounds, physical appearances at dressing rooms, physical appearances at most of the places where most of these our players reside may be very important for our management members to adapt as a strategy to ascertain and decode what exactly the problems are. So I believe that we have a very serious issue surrounding the team now, and I must admit wholeheartedly that there is a serious issue that we need to deal with to restore Asante Kotoko back to the winning ways. What we are seeing of late is not what most of our supporters are happy about. And in fact, the contribution of supporters also towards the sustainability and the progress and the achievement of the team is also very critical. And we cannot also run away from the fact that, yes, what has been the role of supporters in ensuring the development and the building of the team to perform the way supporters want. I mean, all the factors that are attributable to the current state of Asante Kotoko may not, directly be linked to one causative factor. There might be multiple factors that are actually affecting Kotoko's performance today, and it is important we try to investigate and establish the shortfalls, whichever angle, whichever organ of the club that needs to up their game, so that we can iron out and fashion out a solution to ensure that Kotoko becomes the Kotoko that we have known since 1982, since 1993 when we played Zamalek in Egypt. Even in recent times, when in the last 10 years, I mean, Kotoko has been the Kotoko that we know. It is unfortunate that the current state of Asante Kotoko cannot be appreciated. It cannot be said as what we actually want, and we need to do something about it.
Very well said. Very well said, Michael. Now, like I said, in early November last year, Dreams FC went into Babayara Stadium and did something very significant, which was come back with a 1-0 win against Asante Kotoko. Definitely very, very disappointing for the Kotoko faithful, but a significant milestone for Dreams FC. Tell me about that game and what you believe went right for you, Aminu.
I think that game was the beginning of showing everybody that our team is coming of age and that is able to go to hostile environments, hostile grounds, and get the results. I think we should have probably even recorded an even more impressive scoreline, but that was the first round. Tomorrow's game is going to be another different one that, from our perspective, is a must-win game because of our current position in the league standings. I know for big clubs like Kotoko or House of Oak, all they need is to flip a switch and then everything will turn around. But I hope and pray that it doesn't happen tomorrow. If anything at all, let us finish the game tomorrow. Let us cook them good. Let us get the result, a very good win. It's also good for us to, boost our confidence going to the first leg encounter with Zamalek. So for us, we are looking at getting the 3 points. It's very, very crucial that we get the 3 points, play some good football, and then get our result and then move on. It's so unfortunate that Kotoko find themselves in such a situation coming to Dewu, even though they have quite a good record at Dewu. But then we are looking forward to getting the 3 points, just to replicate the performance in the first leg and probably even build on it and do better and get a very good results come tomorrow. Well,
Bismarck, I want you to tell me this. You do remember that during Dr. Prosper Attoh Gum's first stint, one of the things that led to his exit was the conversation about getting the needed material and controlling who was coming in and recruiting whom he wanted to put in to make it work, especially at the continental level. How much have things changed now from where you sit?
That is where the on-field problem of Kotoko began. The second coming of Ogum and what he has been able to do with a true transfer windows that has come under him. Now, you see, I understand from people close to Ogum and Ogum himself when he wants to cave in the excuse of being told to rebuild the team. And that's affecting his approach to the transfers of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But Ogum should have known that in the context of Kotoko, to rebuild is to get the club on the ascendancy from where it is and not to buy time for a long-term project as he saw it. Now, for instance, if you look at the first time Ogum won the league with Kotoko, and the key players, and I'm talking about the core players, he had them. When he was coming back to Kotoko, Kotoko were not first. They were not champions as he left the club. Kotoko has declined to the 4th position in the preceding season before Ogum came. Aside the position, which was an evidence of the state of the club, Kotoko has lost a lot of key players. A lot of them. From Richard Boadu Agadas, the captain. I'm talking about looking at the space between when Ogum won the league and when he came back. Kotoko has lost key players, including Richard Boadu, Yusuf Mubarak, Ismail Ganiyu Abdul, Christopher Nete, Mudasiru, Etuga, Fabio Gama, Imoro Ibrahim. And these were core to the Kotoko team that won Ogum his first trophy with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, if you look at the magnitude of quality that Kotoko had lost during his second coming, now the transfer windows and the opportunity for him to recruit players should have informed him that to improve the 4th position of Kotoko to a better position, he needed to replace the quality that he has lost during his first stint very, very well. Now, what do we see? The players that came in, the evidence of their impact is where Kotoko lies on the league table, on the 10th position. And if you lose key players, as I have already mentioned, and you bring in the likes of Somoa, the likes of Intimenu, the likes of Michael Jamina, Kalu Watara, Ansu, Nuruddin, to be honest with you, I'm not saying they are bad players, but comparatively, Ogum has not done himself very, very well in terms of the 2 transfers windows that he has gotten. Yes, I understand. And I want to be fair with the structure and the administration. The Kotoko is in transition. It is an interim management committee that is in place. They have been tasked to hold the fort until Otumfuo takes a decision as to permanently how he wants to structure his new administration. That is fair enough. It is indeed true that Otumfuo has instructed the current IMC to find him a very, very suitable model that will come with how they can raise money, a funding, a business plan to fund the club. That is also true. But for me, the reason why we are having this conversation, and I will retreat from what Fifi and our brother in Kansas said, is that within the transitional period, those who have been tasked to administer the club is now currently having the worst home form in the league. Kotoko is lying at the 10th position in the league, and in the last 6 games, Kotoko has lost 5 and drew 1. That is not the position of Kotoko, even in the context of rebuilding, and that is why we are having this conversation. So I don't know whether it was Ogum being lazy with the way he understood and probably the abuse of the powers that was given to him as a member of the IMC and a coach, the luxury with which he only had to make a lot of the decisions as to players that they bring in. And because of the transitional period, the lack of checks and balances, the kind of power that he had to make these big calls in bringing in the players that he brought in. Look, aside even the less quality Ogum has brought in, look at the players he had to let go from even the team that finished 4th last season. The likes of Dixon Afuakwa, a lot of the players that were there last season that contributed to Kotoko's at least 4th position, that is also beyond their standard, were also let to go without any proper replacement of those players. So, yes, Ogum has himself to blame, the quality that he won the league with in the first place are gone, and he couldn't replace them with equal quality.
Now we would also have to start talking about what we want to see done. Let me begin from Michael. Michael, what are the key things you'd want to see change? Because time is running, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season, and the expectation of the fans, just like Bismarck has said, is that results have to come, whether rebuilding is happening or not. That's the difficulty with having a space as big as Kumasi Asante Kotoko and having that much pedigree. What would you want to see done as a matter of urgency from where you sit, Michael?
Hello, Nat.
Yes.
Okay, so in the short possible terms, I think that first of all, we need to be very careful how we settle on what exactly the cause of the Kotoko problem is. Now, to directly respond to your question, I think that if in the current scheme of affairs in Asante Kotoko now, that is given the players as we have at our disposal, because the days of Mfege at his prime, the days of Mbella and all those players are over. To that extent, the Ogum under Mbella is not the Ogum under Steve Mokwela. The tactics, the variations of tactics, the player physique, player quality, everything is different now. If there is anything that needs to be done technically, because results are won or results are obtained on the field based on technical competencies. Technical competencies are not the duty of a supporter. Technical competencies are not the duty of a management member. Technical competencies are duties primarily linked to technical officers, and that is the technical team. And so I believe that technically, the team lacks some degree of potency and agency in any aspect of the department of the game. I think that the responsibility should be a responsibility of Prosper Nate Ogun and his assistants to deal with it, because one, I was at Kumasi Sports Stadium when we played in Trackman in the JA Kofo Cup. I was at the Kumasi Sports Stadium when we played Nations FC. Recently, I was at the Kumasi Sports Stadium when we lost 1-0 again to what's his name? In Trackman again. You know, I was with the team when we drew away to the Bechem United. You know, I have consistently tried to follow the team to ascertain what exactly the challenge is, just to enable me come to a very conclusive position as to what, if I am given the opportunity to speak about Kotoko at any fora, I will be able to make some meaningful contribution. And it is, in fact, it is good to conclude that we have to just settle that technically the team needs to up its game, because the kind of opposition we are facing now, in 6 matches, having drawn 1 and lost 5, it's not a good performance that any good coach, you know, of Ogun's level will be proud of. And to that extent, Ogun should be the most worried person now, as far as the current status of Asante Kotoko is concerned. Beyond that, we, the supporters, must be 100% worried about what is happening to the club now, because we cannot be in a league with Hartsofolk, Asante Kotoko, Great Olympics, our brothers Dreams FC. And when you look at the league log right now, the position of these teams that I have mentioned is not anything to write home about. To that extent, I believe that my primary focus is on the performance of Asante Kotoko, and that is what I can speak about. And so I think that Prosper Nate Ogun, Doctor, should be able to do something technically different from what we have seen. If it goes beyond technical issues and it requires some intervention of managerial skills and acumen, I think that discussion can be dealt with on a different platform, and we'll have solutions to those challenges as well. But currently, what is happening is technical bankruptcy, and I believe that Prosper Nate Ogun must transform things for the team as we speak now.
All right, so we'll be getting into the Dreams FC conversation very shortly, taking a look at their way forward as well, as they have landed some very, very good, very solid opposition for the next stage of the competition. But Fifi, this conversation about the coach always getting their first hit, when teams and clubs get into this phase of their lives and their run. Where are we placing it with this Kotoko conversation? Are we doing the regular thing, which is always, go for the head of the coach and leaving what really the issues are? Is that the situation?
Yeah, Nat. I mean, by and large, I think that's probably going to be the go-to if push comes to shove. But while you would disagree that sometimes there's a need to look beyond just the coach, Kotoko's case, I'm sorry, it's a little bit peculiar, and I think that my senior colleague, Mr. Empire, has enumerated that brilliantly. I mean, he was given the opportunity to go into the market and buy players for himself. I mean, Ayala makes points about how maybe he was probably relaxed or lax about he going to get them. I think that he was probably overconfident with how Otumfo and then Mensah and he vested so much confidence in him and the fact that he was called. I mean, I was preview to that, how he went there. I was preview to how he was already almost getting to Samatex, and he had to ask people like Augustine Ahemfo to pause the Samatex negotiations because he was being called by the great king. I mean, he went there and he knew that that's a big responsibility conferred on him and he had to take it. I think that with that responsibility, it comes a lot of work. And the fact that maybe he was just probably overconfident and didn't gauge the future expectations of the Kotoko fans, regardless of what Otumfo was. I mean, Otumfo is a great king and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's also football, and the fans are the first go-to. In as much as the club belongs to him, His Royal Majesty, the fans also believe that they have a huge say. And if you listen to all of them, it's a cry to their great king, and they say, Daddy, we need help. We want you to salvage us from all of this thing that's going through. So when somebody says, let us go for the head of Ogum, they are not, what they're saying isn't far-fetched. When, in my opinion, I may not say Ogum should leave, but I would say that the buck stops with him, and he has to look himself in the mirror. There are probably a lot of things that he can change, and I believe that he has to change them. And I think that starts with communication. Even if you say you are rebuilding, how well have they done in terms of communicating to the average Kotoko fan in Edum, in Ketia, in Tech Junction? How well have they done those communications? How well have they sent those messages down to the people of Ayediasi or Boedi? I don't think those things have been done well. And I think that it starts with him. I mean, if I allow you to play the post-match process of Kotoko's assistant coach, it is the same words repeated game after game, loss after loss. Bear with us, we'll turn it around. Bear with us, we'll turn it around. Bear with us, we'll turn it around. And I think that has become some form of a rhetoric that Kotoko fans don't want to hear. So I really do think that Ogum has to take that mantle, start speaking to the fans, let them know what you are doing. Of course, you are with IMC as well, so you know definitely what's going on in the back door as well. So whilst you get those support and while you plead to probably Mensah to give you more support, maybe more hands and stuff like that, you try to change things on the foot of play. But nobody will be faulted if they say that Prosper Nate will go. Because Nat, see, the results Kotoko have now. And again, even in the context of business or in the context of finances, you cannot sack these players that Kotoko have bought. You can't change the 11 players of Kotoko. Some of the most expensive players are Kotoko had Mukwela, Watara, Morrison, Babayaya, and the likes. I mean, how do you let all of these people go for nothing? That would have been bad financial decision. So if the one man who leads the charge would have to go so that somebody else can inspire the players to play, then that decision may be taken. And I don't think that would be far-fetched, because if you lose those games at the helm, again, if you talk about Ogum and then how he rose to become a great coach in this country, it is because in that season where he was literally written off, when he came from the West African Football Academy and then took over the reins of Kotoko, he won the league. And it was a big deal. Kotoko had not won it in a while. So he made his name on the back of winning. So when you're not winning and you are losing, definitely those who are your biggest critics are going to point. And even me, who has a lot of admiration for him, will point to that and say, this is not good enough, and we'll have to have a relook at it. So, whilst Kotoko may want to rebuild, like you rightly said, if you have a lot of pedigree, if you have the club, the magnitude of Kotoko, you have to find ways to win, especially a traditional club like Kotoko, and with everything that goes around that club, Oguma has to win. I mean, if you look at him on the touchline, he looks bemused, he looks worried, he looks lost. But at the end of the day, he has to win. He has to bring himself together and gets the wins. And I think that starts by he reaching out to the fans in the opportunities in the pre-match, post-match, and pre-match press conference that he gets, and then speak to the fans and let them know that he's building something. Maybe the fans will have some more sympathy for him.
Well, let's see if the fans are able to get some more sympathy for him. Like you said, 055-11-11997, 055-11-11997. Already, the club that managed that 1-0 win in November of last year are looking forward to a double in the second round of matches. We'll see how that one goes. But would also like to now throw the focus on what Dreams FC have ahead of them, having gotten to this stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. Now, it's big opposition in Zamalek, and once anybody hears the name Zamalek, immediately it strikes caution. Okay, here we are.
Yeah, but Dreams FC is in the semi-final, and we've done that on merit. Everybody, every club that has made it this far to the competition deserve some level of respect. We know they're a big club. We know what their achievements in African club competition. But we also know that we are also a very good side. We've analyzed them just like we analyze our previous opponents. We know their weaknesses. We know their strengths. And now we are working on how we can exploit their weaknesses to our advantage and minimize ours against them. The good thing, though, is that we have, in NBA, we call it home court advantage. The second leg will be played here in Ghana, and therefore all plans now is towards trying to get a very good result, a result that will ensure that we are still in the tie by the time we play the return leg. That has been our plan throughout this knockout phase, and I'm very, very sure with the kind of confidence that is brimming within the boys, the excitement of reaching the semi-final, and they know that with a little bit more push we can even write a much more impressive story in Africa. So yeah, even though they are giants, we would love to believe that we are the giant killers, and I'm very, very sure that we'll be very, very ready for this game. Already at management level, we are putting in all the plans. We are trying to put together the resources that is required to airlift the team to Cairo and back, and then the technical team are also taking the boys to their place. The good thing is that at least we have a big game to play tomorrow as a means of preparing the boys, even psychologically and all that. Ahead of that game that will be played next weekend in Cairo. So we know they are a big club, but we are not deterred at all. We are not afraid of the challenge. The players have been in such situation before and they've come up tops, and we believe that with a little bit of effort we'll probably scale through this hurdle also.
Bismarck, how real is it looking at this stage for Dreams FC? And what should they watch out for, as we get into this phase, which obviously is a very crucial one? This stands between them and a historic final in the CAF Confederation Cup. What should they be looking at?
I think at this stage, even Dreams FC will stop doubting in themselves. They've gotten to the semi-finals. What is it again that you think is doing the magic for you, if not your performance and you failing ties on merit? I think at this stage, from the management team to the technical team to the players, will start believing in themselves more and believing in their abilities, and count on their capability to say, look, we have gotten here because we are one of the best in the competition, and that is why we are here. Yes, if you look at names, Zamalek is a huge name, but Dreams FC this campaign has been able to come up against names that are bigger than them, and they've still been able to sail through. And I'll be very, very surprised if Karim Zuto stands in front of the boys and tell them, "This is how we are going to execute the Zamalek onslaught," and any of the players will doubt the game plan of the professor, I'll be very, very surprised, because he has led you to this stage, and where you've gotten to, you don't have any reason to doubt what the coach tells you and what you yourself have been able to do. I agree that Dreams playing the second leg in Ghana is some sort of advantage. But if you look at how Zamalek even qualified to the semi-finals, they went away to win and came home to draw 1-1. What it then means is that, yes, Dreams FC in their dynamics will consider an advantage playing at the Baba Sports Stadium in the second leg. But I want them to focus on playing the two ties on its merits as fair games. And if they are able to go and churn out a result that is equal or similar to the last time Zamalek played at home, that will mean Dreams FC coming home to the Baba Sports Stadium with a draw. And that is a perfect advantage to come in with. Again, I am sure that journalists in Egypt will also make the same analysis. That yes, Dreams FC were also able to go and beat Stade Malien in Mali, but they came home, conceded the first goal, and only managed to draw to qualify to the semi-finals. So Zamalek will also say, look, okay, if we are not even able to get the results in Egypt, for what Stade Malien has shown, Dreams FC also couldn't win at home. So we can also go there and do the magic there. So for me, it's well placed. The team job is cut out for them. They know what to do. They have more belief now. And as their general manager just said, they can write even a better history in this competition if they want to carry on the way they've gone so far. And I believe that with a little bit of belief, and as their slogan goes, still believe, with a little bit of belief and in their capabilities and what fortunes have smiled on them during this season's campaign, I think they should be able to be very, very competitive and give us a chance of having a Ghanaian team back in the finals of CAF Confederation Cup.
Well, let's look at the financial implications on Dreams FC. Now, this is a conversation that has always come up, especially when you get to a stage of the competition such as this. Now, clubs, some have gone to the presidency. Asante Kotoko, the last time they found themselves in a continental competition, got some backing and some funding from the presidency. But this obviously will be a very tough task and a huge task. I heard you talk about mobilizing resources for this task. It sure has had a very big effect on your coffers and your financial muscle as a club.
It has. Most of the funding that we receive has been based on loans.
Loans?
Yes, loans, based on loans. Credit to the team, we've done so well to put ourselves in a position where by the end of the competition we'll be able to service these loans properly. However, at the start of the group stage, we received support of $40,000 equivalent in CD from the ministry. At the start of the group stage, and that money was exhausted in the first game against Club Africain. Even though we appreciate the support from the ministry, I think they should be doing much better, because I think in 2019 or 2020, when Kotoko was going to Africa, they didn't even make it to the group stage, and they got 1 million Ghana cedis. That was then. The exchange rate probably would have been, I think, $150,000. And this is the team that has made it to the semi-final. If the authorities are listening, they should do well to support this club, because where we've reached, if we are able to marshal good resources together and put them to very good use, we are going to make the final. And this is huge for Ghana football. The benefits that we stand to derive from Dreams FC qualifying to the final of the Confederation Cup go way beyond that will come directly to Dreams FC. It has a ripple effect throughout the football industry and even for the states. So I'll use this opportunity to call on not only the states but other corporate bodies to come and support this good venture. I believe we've done so well to put ourselves in a position where we deserve some level of support from right-thinking Ghanaians and people of society. if you're able to do that and do that very well, I have no doubt at all, from what the boys have shown throughout this competition, I have no doubt at all that if you're able to even bring in more resources, especially at this stage of competition where we need even more experts coming on board to execute certain aspects of the campaign very well for us, if we are able to get those resources and put them to very good use, I have no doubt at all that we'll make the final and probably even go and win the cup. From judging from what the boys have done throughout the competition, when nobody gave them a dog's chance, the team is very good. The technical team is quite well experienced. Management is also doing its bit. The board has led with direction and also provided the minimal funds that we've applied quite well. But now we are in the competition end of the tournament, and we need every support that we can get. And therefore, again, use your platform again to appeal to state coffers and people, all sorts of people, to come and support us in diverse ways, of course, by also appreciating and thanking those who have supported us this far. But then we need to make the final push to make the dream a reality.
The final push, indeed. And in establishing the final push, Bismarck, what should the side look out for? I mean, Kotoko have had their own experiences in the past with North African opposition. What should Dreams FC be looking out for as they go through these legs of the competition with the aim of possibly making it into the final?
I think yes, they've really done well already. Do you know that the performance of Mediama and Dreams has moved us in terms of the association rankings at CAF from the last time I checked from 27 to the 14th position. What it means is that with a little bit of push, Dreams FC could get us more slots in Africa with their performance. So that is something that every Ghanaian must support. Now, playing these North Africans has always been tricky. Very, very tricky. First of all, in terms of the arrangement on travels, I think Dreams FC at this position must know that, yes, it is cost intensive though, but they've come so far not to give in for any cheap arrangements, so that they can go to Cairo in the best of shapes and not really think about the financial cost of the luxury that comes with traveling, probably in a better flight, sleeping in a better hotel, and all those things, because you need that kind of environment and get the players in a kind of shape that will make them competitive. And that is the first thing. And for me, that has been some of the differences between these clubs from North Africa and from Sub-Saharan Africa.
All right. So we'll be talking some more about the Zamalek situation with Dreams FC. As we all do know, Dreams FC find themselves in the last four of the CAF Confederation Cup. And that sure is a big deal because Dreams FC may not be your regular dominant force in our domestic Premier League, and they've been able to make this achievement. Contributing to this conversation are the general manager of Dreams FC, Aminu Shado, who's here with me in the studio. Joining us virtually are Bismarck Owusu-Bempah, head of sports at Inshira Sports, and also Fifi Banfred with sister station Love FM, and Mr. Michael Nkansa, who previously served as PR for the National Circles Council of Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, who have also been a very key part of this conversation so far this afternoon, doing an assessment of the possible, the possible solutions that we can that the club can apply. Fifi, what is the best way to go around North African opposition away from, the psychological game? What in your estimation will be the best way to go around, North African opposition? Because if Dreams FC are able to make this achievement, it will be a whole Ghanaian celebration of excellence and a successful story. Hello, Fifi, can you hear me?
Hi, Nat. Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry. I think you lost me and I came back. I thought it was you were still speaking to
Very well. Very
but
well.
Psychologically, I think that Dreams have done very well. They may be tempted to believe that this is enough, or maybe they've done far. I mean, for a club, the magnitude of Dreams, you think that okay, it's a small club from Daewoo, and then it's a private club. A few people have come together. They've done a good job. They've gotten where they've gotten to. But I think that the fact that their names are going to be etched in Ghanaian history for life should motivate them more. I've seen videos when they won at Stade Malien, and then the players were jubilating. The fact that these things, these moments, these times will stay with them for life should be enough motivation. Again, the fact that no Ghanaian team has gone this far since about 2000 when Kotoko and Hearts played in the final should be also very motivating for them. So much so that they should want to give it their all and then beat Zamalek and go through and then be in the final. And even in the final, there is a possibility of winning it, because if you look at Zamalek in their last games that they've played, look at the other teams in the semi-final, the last games that they've played. Dreams FC, I think, has a very solid team. In fact, I watched them at the Baba Sports Stadium, and they were delights to watch. They looked like a very confident side. They scored the first goal. It was ruled out by VAR. They went down. They came back, and everything seems to be right in line for them. They knew exactly what they would do at the various stages of the game, and I'm very proud of them. I'm only worried. I mean, now that my big brother Amin is listening to me, I'm sure that he doesn't give any room for any relaxation or any scarce mentality to believe that this is it. We've done very well, and so let's tap ourselves in the back. No, they can go far, and I believe in them that they can do that. There's a need to get them to push and then get a job done. I believe that Dreams FC are facing a big opposition. Ghanaian teams have had it very tough against North African sides, but then mind you, North African sides are very beat up. They've shown in recent times that they have frailties, and we have to find ways to beat them. They are very theatrical when you go away to play them, but we can make it happen. I think that Dreams should look at that and then beat Zamalek and then go through.
Great stuff there. Let's now start, picking the thoughts of Michael. Michael, Dreams are the Ghanaian club who are shining light on our flag in the midst of all the stiff competition. For you, what is a key thing or the key factor that could get them the kind of result we're looking for?
Well, I think that I still want to associate myself with most of the submissions made by my brothers and colleagues. I think looking at the performance of Dreams FC, as I have already stated in my earlier submission, Dreams have done so much well that at this point they need all of us as football, fans to support them, and they've been guaranteed that support in the Kumasi Sports Stadium. Most of our Kotoko supporters have shown that at any point in time when Dreams FC lined up against any opponent in the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, Kotoko supporters and some section of football fans within the Kumasi vicinity will surely provide the needed support for them to enable them, overcome their opponents. I think that psychologically, as you just mentioned, Dreams have done so much work to overcome every psychological disadvantage that stands their way. And I watched their game against Stade Malien, both in Bamako and in Kumasi, and I believe that the level of competence, the level of technical, competence that they display on the field of play. I want to commend Karim Zito so much for his tenacity, for his ability to stand the pressure when it matters. I mean, playing away in Bamako is not an easy, it's not an easy task. Both Hasselhoff and Santo Kotoko have had their share playing at Stade Malien Sports Stadium in Bamako, and it has not been a very easy, task for Dreams FC to go to Bamako to demonstrate that level of performance, which earned them that respectable step forward into the CAF Confederation Cup semi-final stage. And I believe strongly that playing against Zamalek may come to Kumasi Sports Stadium having the historical, information about having played Kotoko in several times at the Kumasi Sports Stadium, and having played even the Accra House of Oak at the Kumasi Sports Stadium before, once upon a time in time past. I believe that Dreams FC should put all these experience that they have, obtained in terms of the commencement of this competition and all the opponents they've been able to overcome, and having gotten to this stage, I believe strongly that with a small push, Dreams FC will make Ghana proud. 20 years ago, Kotoko and House of Folk were raising the flag of Ghana so high at the inception of the CAF Confederation Cup, when the CAF Winners' Cup and the CAF Cup have been merged. And so 20 years down the line, Dreams FC must repeat that sporting feeling that engulfed the entire nation in the year 2004. And I believe that with the needed support, as the aforementioned, Dreams FC will still be able to sail through the semi-final and proceed to the finals. And this is very important because Dreams FC's presence in the Confederation Cup final is likely to boost the chances of Ghanaian clubs in terms of the slots that we have as far as the CAF Confederation Cup pairings and the slots allotted to various federations are concerned. And it is important that Dreams FC at this material moment, irrespective of where you belong, needs our support. And all of us will be at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. Me, myself, I will be at the Kumasi Sports Stadium when Zamalek arrives in Kumasi, and I will be there to give them the needed support and to ensure that Dreams FC and Karim Zito, moves to the next stage of the CAF Confederation Cup, and that is the final. And we are all anticipating, and to see that the Confederation Cup actually comes to Ghana at least for the second time since its inception. And on behalf of most of our Kotoko supporters, we are very proud of Dreams FC, and I'm sure my brother Aminu Shado and his team also, they should be tapped on their shoulders for a very good job that they are doing. And we pray that come the day when they played Zamalek, we will be singing victorious songs all along the streets of Kumasi. And the ultimate is to get Dreams FC to the finals.
The ultimate is to get them to the finals. Well, we'll see how all of it goes. But I mean, how strong is your side? I mean, you have had the opportunity of experiencing teams, and working with them on various stages. I mean, you've worked with the Black Stars as team manager, and it can get very, very tough on a stage like this.
The team is very, very strong. Sometimes they even impress me. I've been with the team throughout the campaign, but especially in situations where they find themselves in very, very difficult scenarios, they've come up very top. Credit to the team, because I remember when we went to play Rivers United, a game that we played quite well, even though we lost that game, but the result didn't hurt us in any way. But we played so well. When we went to Angola, a very difficult ground to also play, we played so well. And then even in Tunisia, when we lost our first group game against Club African, by the time we finished the game, the Tunisians themselves realized that they've played a very, very difficult match. So we know we are a difficult side to beat, and that's the good thing about this side. Beating us will take a lot, and for any side. In fact, when we played Stade Malien back in Mali, I mean, I'm sure they underrated us a bit, and that's how come we recorded a very good scoreline. We always knew the match was good, the return leg was going to be difficult, so we had to be very, very smart in our approach to make sure we played the game very, very well to get the result just for us to qualify. And I think this team has matured to the level where they know what is at stake and they know how to get a result. For me, that's the gratifying thing about this team. They know how to grind the result that we desperately need to qualify. And we've analyzed, like I said, we continue to analyze the Zamalek side. We know they're a very good side, but we also know that they are susceptible to certain weaknesses, which we look forward to exploit. I have absolute trust and confidence in the technical team led by Abdulkarim Zito. I think if there's anybody to find the right formula to scaling this semi-final headed to the final, I think it's him. And like I said, the team now, the first team now is the completion of our developmental processes, because 4 years ago, 6 of the starters in the first team were with the same Karim Zito with our youth team, I still believe, when they were playing Division 2. That was 4 or 5 years ago. And the completion of that developmental cycle is what we are seeing now today as Dreams FC. So it's also another win for us. It tells us how effective, if you work very well with your youth team, you will reap quite well at even the biggest stage. And with that kind of confidence and that kind of consistency in the team, I'm very, very sure that if we are able to again execute the plans that we are formulating very well, we'll get the results and come back home and then see how we can finish it off here.
All right. So I'm going to do a quick exercise over the next round of matches. One key one indeed is the Dreams FC Asante Kotoko game that we played tomorrow. That should be a very good rehearsal, just like Aminu Shadu has already told us. But Fifi, I just want us to run through these as quickly as we can with very brief comments on what we're likely to see. Well, Hearts of Oak also are also going through, similar. They win one, come back, lose one, and all of that. So Hearts versus Karela, what's the expectation? That game is being played tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Well, that's Hearts have had some very bad run also in the last 3 games. They are winless, and pressure is beginning to mount on Coach Ouattara. I think the Hearts have a very good team, in my opinion, in terms of playing body, the quality of the players that they have. They're a very good team. It's just that going away to Mediama, they played some very good football as well. And if you watch that first half of that game, the Attoh Hearts were good. Just a few mistakes. I have a problem with their goalkeepers. They seem to be having that mistake for a while now, but I think Hearts will have enough to undo Karela this time.
Very well. Okay, so Samatex, the leaders versus Brecum Chelsea tomorrow.
Samatex, I mean, they are the summit of the Ghana Premier League because they have been good. And you remember, I used to talk to you about Coach Nuruddin Amadou, I think about a month ago when we spoke about the Ghana Premier League.
On Sports Day, yes, exactly.
Samatex are definitely one of the best teams, and that's why at home at the Century Park, they hardly lose. Their away form isn't so good. The best results they get away is usually a draw. But when they are home, they do everything possible to get a job done. The experience with the mix of youthful exuberance in their team is good enough, and I think that Kayeke will lead his boys to make sure that they win this one against Brecum Chelsea at home. I mean, Samobodu will be going there, but definitely I think that Samatex and Coach Nuruddin will get a job done.
Well, Mediama SC will also be hosting Legon Cities, and Real Tamale United as well will be going away to Bechem United.
Yes, if you look at Mediama, the African campaign made them took a lot of their concentration from the league away. It's an opportunity since they've been out of the competition to focus on it. Playing last time they won against Attoh home, Legon Cities also haven't been so good this season. If you look at their position on the league standing as it stands now, Legon Cities are 13th with just about 32 points and -6 goal difference. They seem to concede a lot. At home at our compact, I'm tipping Mediama to get away.
Very well. All right, now away from that as well, Adriana Stars will play Heart of Lions, and Nations FC play Bofakwa Tano.
Adriana FC at home, also a very good side. In the last few games, they tend to make sure they win at home. Mind you, Adriana Stars are just a few points from Nations FC. I think they're about 4 points from Nations FC, and then they are about 7 points from Samatex. They know that in this Ghana Premier League, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep the home form going. And once you keep on winning at home and get results from elsewhere, you can catch up on Samatex. So Adriana is not out of the league, the winning of possibly winning the league, and they will make sure they still staying there. Playing today at home is a very, very difficult one for what's his name, Heart of Lions. Heart of Lions are close to the relegation zone. They need their points as well. But I think that this game looks like a draw to me. Heart of Lions in recent times have been trying to win. And I think that this one looks like a draw to me away at Doma for Heart of Lions.
Okay, so I'll give the remaining two to Bismarck as we wrap up the show. Nswatraman will be hosting Great Olympics. And, of course, the very big one, Asante Kotoko going away to Dreams FC. Bismarck, your take on these two games? Okay, so we lost him on that. Okay, so I guess Fifi, you take these as well.
Okay, Nat. So Kotoko versus Dreams. I mean, I want some peace and quiet in Kumasi next week. I would hope that Kotoko wins, but it is a difficult game. It's a very, very, very difficult game for Kotoko to navigate, especially given the recent form that they find themselves in. And they know that they need to play more than their usual selves. I don't think that this Kotoko team are better than the Dreams FC team. The only thing that they can get for themselves is that Dreams have bigger things to focus on, and that is qualifying to the final of the CAF Confederation Cup. And that I'm thinking that coach what's his name? Dreams FC's coach, the professor, would rest some players and then make sure that he gets them fresh and then get them to go and play against Zamalek when they are done with this game week. So I think that they'll rest some players. Away at the Who is a very, very difficult game for Kotoko. If you look at the Kotoko team, last 2 weeks ago, they played a 3-back, this time 4-back. There's a lot of uncertainties, but at least Kotoko should be able to get a draw away just so things get calm. And then that's the final game that we are going to see this weekend is Instructionman versus Great Olympics. Instructionman have been very good, winning about the only team in the Ghana Premier League that have won 4 games on a trot this season in the Ghana Premier League. They have been very good. They are playing at home at the Dr. Kwame Chi Sports Stadium, and it makes it even better for them. With Great Olympics not being in good form, I think the Instructionman, with 2 managers, very experienced, Johnson Smith and then Okansi Mengo, good enough. I think that they can make that win for Instructionman at home at the Dr. Kwame Chi Sports Stadium.
Fifi Manfred, we're very grateful to you this afternoon for the analysis, and would give 30 seconds each to Aminu and Michael so we can wrap it up. Let's begin with you, Michael.
Thank you very much. I think that Kotoko's game against Dreams is one of the biggest games for this weekend, and it is going to be a very tough game for especially Asante Kotoko, judging from the performance of the team in the last few matches at the Kumasi Sports Stadium. And, a slight advantage and an opportunity for Dreams FC to continue to, have some degree of authority on the Baba Yara turf. Playing Kotoko at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, as a curtain raiser to your game against Zamalek is a very tough game for Dreams FC. So I believe that tomorrow, if there is going to be a good results from Kumasi Sports Stadium, of course, I would have wished that Kotoko wins. But looking at the current state of Asante Kotoko and looking at the performance of the team in recent times, I see that game to be a very tough game for Asante Kotoko. Even though I'm a true Kotoko boy, I still see that Dreams FC will give Kotoko a good run for their money. And the outcome of tomorrow's or this weekend's game against Dreams FC will determine whether or not Kotoko we are in to find solutions to our problems. I want to just conclude by saying that all the discussions that we've had, I believe that we still have to commend Dreams very well for the achievement and the successes they have achieved so far in the CAF Confederation Cup. And I'm proud of what they have done in their first streak in the competition, and having not played in this competition before and achieving this result. I think it's a very commendable achievement, and we are hoping that against Zamalek we'll get a good results for Dreams FC.
Very well. And Aminu?
I feel very uncomfortable whenever I'm playing against a big club and being touted as the favourite. But we've told the boys that if indeed everything that people are saying is to be believed, we need to translate it on the field of play. We need to beat them and beat them good for our own benefits, not for any other benefit, because we need to improve our position on the league log. We are way better than the position we are, and for that to happen, we need to turn the tide, and we need to start doing that from tomorrow against Asante Kotoko to give us a very good platform upon which to build upon for our first leg encounter in the semi-final in the Confed Cup against Zamalek.
All right, so that is how we will wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. General Manager of Dreams FC joining us here. Dreams FC find themselves in the semi-final of the CAF Confederation Cup. They are also playing against their arch rivals Kumasi Asante Kotoko tomorrow in the Ghana Premier League. There'll be more tomorrow on the Joy Sports Arena with the rest of the team from 4 p.m. So you'd have to join us for that. And so the rest of the team would be taking you through the rest of the day. Remember that Showbiz A to Z will be following very shortly, and the big conversations are right here in the entertainment industry. Also, just continue to follow Joy News for more updates on the Ejisu MPP primaries. Do remember that one key face in there from our interest is Kwesi Nyantichi, the former Ghana FA president, who's also vying for that slot. Thanks to the whole Joy Sports team. Thanks to everybody for doing the listening. And once again, we'll say a very big happy birthday to the Director General of the National Lottery Authority, Sami Uku, who celebrates his 40th today. And finally, also to the Director of Human Resource for Olam in Africa, Mr. Ken Entry, a good friend of the station who's burying his father today. Our condolences going out to you, Mr. Ken Entry. All right, you have a wonderful one, and thank you all for